What's up, guys? Bluntguts here. I am doing a Watch Our Realms video for you today, and today we're going to be doing a GR1-21 with no Dolores, with no Power of Dominance. We're only going to be using 5 heroes to do it. So let's get into it. I can show you the team, and I can give you a little bit of insight into what everybody is doing in there. So we're going to go to GR1. As you can see, Power of Dominance is not on. You'll be able to see that when we start the fight too. So as you may have guessed, we are doing a primarily Esotericist comp here. I don't know that you could do it with this few heroes without using this comp, because as of right now, the best AoE heroes in the game are in the Esotericist faction. Venoma, obviously, as a Legendary Lord, she is going to enhance that even further. So this is probably best case scenario as far as the damage that you're going to get out of Comet and Boreas. I guess maybe if you had Cyrus, you might be able to get some more damage out of them as well. However, I don't, so we're going to be using Venoma. Venoma is a phenomenal lord. She is, I guess her best spot is really probably in Arena, but she's going to give that 15% stat boost to Boreas and Comet. She's also going to give them 30% rage upon deployment, and that's not just for the Esotericists, that's for everybody. So Mari, for example, who is not in her faction, is going to get those benefits as well. But with that said, we don't really need that in this case. So aside from the 15% bonus, we're not really getting all that much out of Venoma. But what we are getting a lot out of is Comet and Boreas. Boreas is unquestionably the best mage in the game right now. Well, at least the best AoE mage in the game right now. He does just bonkers damage. He, arguably, a lot of people think he should be nerfed. I'm not here to advocate for that one way or another. I've got an A1 Boreas, and I love using him. I do feel like it's kind of an unfair advantage when I do play some teams that don't have him in Arena, for example. So there is that. Other than that, I think the hype is just maybe a little bit too much on him outside of instances where you really need to do all this AoE damage like in GR1-21. So he is kind of overpowered here. I don't know that it's that much of an issue because you could have done something like, not this comp in particular, but you can clear this without Boreas. You can clear 121 without Boreas, particularly since they did reduce the defense and the magic resist for all of these kind of late game gear raid stages a few months ago, I think. I'm not sure how long ago it was at this point, but it's been a while now. And so I wouldn't be able to do this, I think, pre-nerf if I didn't have Dolores in here to kind of get her attack, or get their attack, I should say, up high enough to clear that defense and magic resist threshold that is kind of inherent in these higher level mobs. So now that that's been reduced and their HP's higher, it's a little bit more doable. You're going to see some of these damage numbers pop off. I mean, Boreas is hitting at different points for over 400k without without Dolores in there. It's kind of crazy what he can do. And Comet is no slouch either. He does a lot of damage as well. So Mari is going to be in there for a couple of reasons. Her debuffs are fantastic, but more importantly than that, she is going to be freezing the enemies, which is going to increase Boreas' damage. But even more than that, it's going to enable his anti-healing as well. So let's get into the run. I will show you placements. I will try to give you a little bit of insight into why I'm doing what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. So first thing I'm going to do is drop Comet here, and then second to that is going to be Boreas right behind him. So the reason that I'm dropping Boreas here rather than, say, below Comet, which you might naturally think that's going to give him more range, but because of the way that his hitbox is structured here, he's got this extra tile at the end of his hitbox in the middle. That means that he's going to be able to hit just as much of this kind of kill area right in front of the wall as he would be able to if I put him down below. And what I am going to do is put Mari in that spot I was just talking about. Reason being that I want to make sure that her AoE on her ultimate is going to hit as many of the enemies as possible, both to boost Boreas' damage and to enable that anti-healing to prevent the boss from kind of extending this run and taking too much damage off of the wall. So what I try to do here, and hopefully I'm going to do it well while you guys are watching me, is I try to use Mari's ultimate at times when the boss is casting this ground AoE. The reason being that I'm trying to counteract the healing that the enemies are going to receive based on the fact that they're going to get frozen. Boreas' anti-healing is going to get triggered. He is just good in so many different ways, and I think that a comp like this really kind of highlights that. Again, I actually think that Comet in a lot of ways is actually a better option in Arena, but from a pure damage perspective, nobody can touch Boreas. That's just, you can't really argue with it. It's just the way that it is at the moment. Love it, hate it. I guess you probably hate it if you don't have Boreas. If you do have him, you probably love it like I do, but it is what it is. It doesn't seem like they're going to change it. It seems like their response to him being really, really good was to lower his drop rates, which I guess I'm happy that I've got him A1 at this point, but before the drop rates were nerfed. But I am a little disappointed because he's so good. I'd love to be able eventually to get him to A5, and it looks like it's going to take about 3 times as long as we would have thought it would take prior to the drop rate nerf. So that is what it is. One of the things that is really challenging here, that I found anyway, is this last set of enemies. The ones that are coming up the side right now, they do just a lot of damage to Boreas and to Comet when they're coming around. So what I have to do is kind of overheal here. I pop Elowen's ultimate. I also pop the Wood Elf down to help heal up Comet. Once they are in the center, things do seem to be controlled quite a bit better, but it is kind of touch and go, and getting the timings right, that was the main thing that kind of slowed down my progress trying to get this comp to work. Let's see, we are doing a decent amount of damage here. It's not crazy. As you can see, I'm trying to time the Mari ults for when the ground AoE comes out. They are going down though, and you can see that the damage that the wall's taking is kind of slowing down. So hopefully we're gonna be able to get it on this one. That is, I think we're gonna be good actually, as I'm watching this. As long as there's more than just a sliver left at the end, we should be able to kill the boss before he breaks through. It's really all of these enemies that are doing most of the damage. And I did do some re-gearing on this before everything was a little touch and go. And I went and I put Comet and Boreas in Soulbound Arcana. I also put Bonoma in Soulbound Arcana, which might have been a bit overkill. And then I also put some Invigoration on Elowen and on Mari. And that seemed to really kind of make this a much more consistent comp. This isn't something that you're likely going to use for farming. I did another video where I showed a speed run where you can actually kill the boss using Twin Fiend and Zillitu. You could also use Pyros. I did Pyros in that video as well, where that's going to be a faster comp because all this time that we're spending killing the boss at the end, we could have saved that if we had a way to take the boss out at the beginning. And obviously there's no reason to use only 5 champions other than, you know, just because I think it's kind of cool. So yeah, I enjoy doing comps like this. I'm kind of at a point right now where I've cleared everything in the game. The only things that I really have to work on right now are Arena and Codex, and of course, making cool videos like this that I hope you guys enjoy. So there you have it, guys. We just did it. We had plenty of room to spare on the wall, and we are doing things that we probably wouldn't be able to do a few months ago before they changed some of this stuff and released Boreas. So let's take a look at the gearing on the heroes so I can show you what I did. The gearing is pretty solid, I think. That's my perspective anyway. But you know, it's certainly not like the top level stuff. I did start playing the game a little later than a lot of the end game folks. I think I created my account in early October, but I didn't really start playing until the end of October. And I have sunk some money into the account. So you can see I've got a pretty solid roster here. But anyway, here's what I did. I concentrated on high attack. So every one of these mages has 1 crit damage and 2 attack bonus pieces. If I wanted to kind of further augment that attack, or if I didn't have quite as good gear, what I might have done is gone for triple attack percent. So if you do want to try and replicate this, that is something that I would consider. So obviously Venoma's in a Soulbound Arcana set. She has got, let's see here, 16,246 attack. She's got obviously over 100% crit and about 267% crit damage. I can get that significantly higher on the crit damage, but you know, ultimately what you see is in these higher level gear raid stages, you really do need to be stacking attack, especially if you're not getting an attack boost from Dolores. So that is that. The artifact is kind of junky on her. It's just a title ring. I don't know. I don't think, yeah, there's no freeze on this. I don't know why. I thought there might be a freeze that might interact with Boreas, but it's just as slow. So let's go back and we can take a look at Comet here. Comet is in some pretty solid gear. He's in Soulbound Arcana as well. As you can see, that's a theme. We've got 17,377 attack. He's got pretty decent speed here at minus 1.2 seconds, 438 speed. He is slightly below crit cap, which I probably could have fixed, but 310% crit damage. Seemed like an acceptable trade-off to get the crit damage a little bit higher. Ultimately, he is a beast. He is in a tier of Twilight, but it's just a base tier of Twilight. My better tier of Twilight is actually on Boreas, so let's take a look at him now. So he does have the big boy tier of Twilight at rank 25. Gearing-wise, he's in Soulbound Arcana as well. And the reason that Soulbound Arcana works so well in these stages, It's kind of ideal for these heroes as well. I used to think that IR worked on Comet, but it doesn't actually. I found out recently. So I stopped using that. But because these heroes are going to be popping their ultimates so many times, and because the place where we need the highest level of damage is all the way at the end of the encounter, we're going to have full stacks. We're going to get a full 50% damage increase by the time we get to that last big pack of enemies where the boss comes closer and comes into the wall and comes into the pack. So that's why I structured it the way I did. Boreas has 17,420 attack. Obviously, he's going to have another 20% attack on top of that because of the Tier of Twilight, so that does help him out as well. His attack speed is pretty solid as well at 346, and he is just under 300% crit damage, and of course, he is crit capped. So let's look at Venoma. Actually, I think we did Venoma already, didn't we? Let's look at Elwyn. She's not anything special. She is just in an invigoration set, a little under 400 speed, 17k attack, 380 speed. That's all that really matters. I guess healing effect. Yeah, 168 healing effect. Healing effect is probably a little bit overkill, honestly. I'd probably be better served with more attacks. So maybe what I should do in the future is remove this one and find an attack percent piece. But in the interest of getting the invigoration set on her, I did make some compromises. You could see she did enough healing, but if you had seen some of my attempts where Comet and Boreas died, you can see that you need pretty solid healing in here to keep them up, and you need to be kind of tight with your timings when you are using her ultimate, when you are dropping that Wood Elf, mainly in the last group when those ground AoE enemies come out. And then finally, we have our, where is Mari? She's down here because she is still rank 5. I think at some point, I think I'm kind of getting to the point where I probably will rank up Mari to rank 6 sometime in the near future. Not that she really needs it, but I am running out of good heroes to really upgrade. You can see a few of them here that I'm probably going to get at some point. I will get Brianna up. At some point, I'm going to get Gluttony up. Gluttony is actually really good in single target DPS, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow when we have the Corridor of Glory event. But yeah, so you can see high attack speed is really the theme here. This is the most attack speed I can get on her with having the invigoration set. Let's take a look. So she has, 496 speed, 1 second attack interval. She is doesn't have any damage stats on her. I built her with, I think these are all HP main stat percent. Yep, because I wanted her durable. I didn't want to have to worry about healing her. She's just there for utility. Even if I stack damage on her, she's not going to do all that much. So that's why I built her the way that I did. Her artifact is pretty important as well. This Nightmare Samsara, especially since I'm not bringing in, say, like Laurel for extra rage boost or anything like, or a Hollow for extra rage boost. The Nightmare Samsara really does come into play because you're getting a lot of rage because her attack speed is so fast. She's able to hit these 5 attacks. Basically every 5 seconds, she is getting 7.5% extra rage on top of what she's already generating from having a fast attack speed. So it really, you could see how quickly I was able to work back to those ultimates. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. That's the comp. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. If you do enjoy the content, it really does mean a lot to me. If you subscribe, it really kind of reinforces my, I guess, my enjoyment of producing content for you. So I would really appreciate it. If you do have any notes for me, if you want to tell me what I could do better, or if you have some ideas for some challenges that you'd like to see done, I'd love to see if I couldn't put together some fun comps for some different content in the game. So please let me know what you'd like to see, and I would be more than happy to make it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you all have a great day, and best of luck.